Hello Internet, it's Big Dave here, and it's time for the first roundup of 2012. Yes, this is the roundup for the week ending on Saturday, January 7th. And what a couple or 3 weeks it has been. And we haven't really talked in a roundup since the second to last week of December, I think. Of course, last roundup was a year-end show, so let's catch up. How have you been? Well, I've been perpetually infected with a cold. I think what's happening in my family is we keep passing the same cold around. As each person gets it, I think they put their own special mutation on it and pass it on to the next. And once it got through everybody, it looped back around to me. So that's been a joy. I'm just about done with sniffling and snuffling and, snot everywhere. And one thing I'll tell you about kids, that I didn't really realize fully before having one, is that they don't really know the joy of blowing one's nose. My kid is like 18 months, and he just sort of lets it drip out. Like a faucet that you haven't quite completely turned off. It just kind of constantly drips out. And it is really disgusting. And, this is the same kid whose butt I wipe, but it's really disgusting to just look at him and he's like smiling at you, grinning, with a loving grin, and he's just got a smear of snot all over his face. It's hideous. But in other news, let's talk about gaming, because you don't really come here for parental advice or for information on how gross my kid is. Let's see. On your screen, you should be seeing, hopefully, footage from Nuclear Dawn. Why are you seeing footage from Nuclear Dawn? Well, I'll tell you. Let me go ahead and lead off the show with this news. The Indie Royale has their new bundle up. This is the New Year's bundle, and I will take a very quick second to go over it, just kind of tell you my basic thoughts on the games that are involved. Nuclear Dawn, an amazing game. I haven't managed to play it as much as I want to. I've put a few hours in on it, but Nuclear Dawn is an FPS, RTS sort of hybrid. It is a hell of a lot of fun, and it alone is worth the price that you would pay for the bundle. Right now the minimum is $4.10, and it is easily worth that. So I would consider that to be the headline game of the bundle, but the rest of the games really are not slouches. So let's go over what we've got here. We've got Max and the Magic Marker. I haven't played this yet, but judging from the videos and some of the stuff I've read about it, it is a physics art game meets a 2D platformer. So what they've done is they've taken the concept of a game like Crayon Physics Deluxe, where you use a marker to draw things to help you complete the level. In the case of Crayon Physics Deluxe, you are rolling a ball to the end of the level, but in this case, you're actually drawing the things on which your character platforms. So it's a very interesting take on it, and your character has to hop around and collect ink for the magic marker. Really, really looks like a promising game in that vein of, your doodles are bugged, and Crayon Physics Deluxe, but it's got that great 2D platforming. So I'm really, really looking forward to trying that. That is probably the next game I'm going to try. The third game of this bundle is Fractal. Fractal is a sort of a hex puzzle game. I first heard about Fractal, well, besides seeing it on sale, I heard a little bit more about it from Indie Static. Josh over at Indie Static, he is one of my favorite channels to watch for independent gaming coverage, and he did a piece on it in his Indie Spotlight. So he's brought a lot of great games to my attention, including Treasure Adventure Game, which I'll probably feature on the channel in a couple of weeks, Fractal, and Stealth Bastard. Of course, more recently, the man himself, Total Biscuit, did a feature on Stealth Bastard, so many of you would have learned about it through there. But Fractal, it is a very interesting looking puzzle game. It seems to involve some sort of a pushing mechanic where you put a hex in and it pushes others around it. Really cool and looks really, really promising. And finally, you've got Super Crossfire, and Super Crossfire is, it looks like Space Invaders on acid. It's that sort of Space Invaders style bullet hell where you're kind of slinking along the bottom of the screen, but it looks as if you can actually switch yourself up to the top of the screen, so you can kind of bop back and forth between the top and the bottom of the screen. Very interesting looking, very, very cool looking, bright, vibrant graphics, reminiscent of sort of Geometry Wars or maybe even something like Arcadia, but Arcadia's to a lesser degree. Arcadia doesn't burn your retinas quite as much as Geometry Wars. So It looks promising as hell. One thing about it is a Desura exclusive, so it's not available on Steam. It is available as an independent download, just as an exe file, or available through Desura. Indie Royale, of course, is a partnership between IndieGames.com and Desura, so that would explain that part of it. Also, there's already a bonus that's been activated. There has been, let's see, original soundtracks for Fractal, Max and the Magic Marker, and Super Crossfire, so that is thumbs up to the max on that. And let's see what else. Looks like Fractal soundtrack also comes with the Pulse soundtrack. Pulse, another game by the same developer. Sorry, I'm just getting lost in reading on the website what's been going on. So, yeah, so we got some bonuses unlocked. That's really, really cool. And that's how the Indie Royale works. The more money that they take in, the more bonuses that they unlock. The last bundle, I think the Christmas bundle, they ended up adding like 3 or 4 extra games as well as some soundtracks and stuff. So, really cool stuff. And this bundle is definitely worth it if you don't have Nuclear Dawn. If you don't have Nuclear Dawn and you don't manage to get this bundle in the 2 days that remain, I may be giving away my copy of Nuclear Dawn because I already own it, because I purchased it. So, purchased it prior to this bundle. So, look out for that. But we're going to wait till the bundle ends. So, please do not wait to try and win it from me, because that would just be nonsense. Even though most of the time your odds on winning something from me are pretty good, because only like 3 or 4 people actually participate in my contests. So, yeah. Indie Royale bundle, please take a look at it. And I have my verbose description of the games and the bundle have put me way off, so let's try to finish things up here. I wanted to get in under 10 minutes for you guys, because I absolutely hate to just prattle on and keep you guys for too long. So what else has been going on since last we spoke? Of course, the holiday objectives, the massive holiday sale over on Steam. I completed 29 of my 30 desired objectives. Kind of heartbroken that I missed it by 1, but the in-laws were in for the week between Christmas and New Year's, and that really cramped my style. It was awesome for them to be here, and them to see their grandson, and their grandson to see them, and all that sort of cool stuff, but it cramped my style as far as free time. But, you know, no complaints, no complaints. I got my 29 achievements, and I got my 20 lumps of coal. As far as I'm aware, I did not win every game on Steam. If you won every game on Steam, let me know, because that would be really cool if I knew someone who actually did that. So, yeah, I didn't end up winning any games, except for that Dota 2 thing. I still don't know what that is. I counted up my total number of things, and I think with Dota 2, it equals out. So I'm assuming that I won it, won beta access to it. I don't really know. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of coupons that are just littering up my inventory. I can't wait for those to disappear in March when they expire. There's maybe 1 coupon I would consider using, but apart from that, they're mostly just worthless. So if you look at my inventory on Steam and you see a coupon you want, just hit me up about it, because I will probably give it to you for absolutely nothing. Yes, indeed. Let's see. We played some games. Toby's Vertical Adventure, Rock of Ages, and Jamestown. If you want to know my thoughts on those games, of course, you'll just need to watch those videos, because I'm not really doing as much of the recapping here. But what I will say is that Toby's Vertical Adventure was a fantastic puzzle platformer. I heard a lot of people complain, and I read a lot of complaints about Toby's Vertical Adventure, and I think I kind of figured out what was the problem with a lot of those complaints. There were some people complaining that it was just a little bit too predictable, and it wasn't exactly what they were hoping for, and it didn't innovate on itself, and, you know, it had an interesting concept at first, but by the end that concept was old. But I also heard a lot of really negative reviews of it based on some issues with analog control, and that was patched into the game well before I actually purchased it. So a lot of those negative reviews that you might see out there, or the low grade that you might see on something like Metacritic, if it's even on Metacritic, it's because it had a lot of negative reviews based on its lack of analog controls in the early days. So that's all been fixed, and the controls work wonderfully. So Toby's Vertical Adventure, yep. Rock of Ages, loved it, absolutely loved it. Watched the video. Art style, amazing. Gameplay, addictive. Really, really love Rock of Ages. It was absolutely a blast, and thanks again to Deftonius for that special Christmas gift. And finally, of course, Jamestown. I think you all know what I think about Jamestown if you watch the video. I apologize for the subpar voice acting. I'm kind of testing out my voice acting chops. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. but I went through like 20-something British accents, and they all either sounded like Captain Titus or somehow like Sean Connery, even though I wasn't trying to do a Scottish accent. So I went with the sort of, I don't know, old Southern guy, and messed up a little bit, but all in all, I was pretty happy with the performance. And Jamestown was a blast. You know, it was an innovation on that hell shooter genre, bullet hell, shoot 'em up, whatever you want to call it, genre. And I really enjoyed myself. The story was it was a whimsical sort of idea. You know, explaining it to my wife, it was hilarious to see her reaction to it, and it was really an enjoyable game, all from top to bottom, all around. And it has an absolutely amazing soundtrack. If you got the Humble Bundle, you have that soundtrack. Don't forget about that. If you got Humble Bundle number 4, you have soundtracks for all the games and soundtracks for all of the Humble Bundle number 3 games that were added as a bonus. So you ended up with something like 12 soundtracks of just awesome music. There's a couple of duds in there, but for the most part, there are some awesome soundtracks. Super Meat Boy, Bit Trip, Night Sky is a really nice, just sort of set it and relax kind of soundtrack. The soundtracks are just amazing on there. VVVV, and Yet It Moves. You know, there's some great atmospheric and sort of chip tune sort of soundtracks, and I just that bundle is just so amazing because it was just such a huge value for money. And you know, I always try to pay a little bit more than the average, for that bundle, and even at the price that I pay for it of $15, I feel like I got my money's worth 10 times over, because just the stuff that you got, it was amazing. And I think Humble Bundle really had to step their game up and show themselves as the dominant bundle, and that's what they did, without a doubt, with that bundle. So yes, but I digress, and indeed I do. So let's finish things up here with me telling you about my New Year's resolution. And I'll be kind of cryptic here because I don't want to get people's hopes up. But my New Year's resolution this year is to do something creative. And so far my idea for doing something creative is to pursue the possibility of putting into production an animated short. And when I say animated, I mean like crudely animated. So I've been dusting off my my drawing skills from high school, and I have been checking out some animation programs and running through those and trying to sort of see which one I think I'm gonna want to invest time in learning. And yeah, that was part of the reason with Jamestown that I kind of stretched my voice acting chops a little bit. And yeah, don't be surprised if this project ever actually gets in production, which, again, don't even cross your fingers on that, because I wouldn't want you to have to cross your fingers for that many months. But if it actually does get in production, don't be surprised if I don't hit some of you up maybe for a little bit of voice acting, because some of you guys I know who do YouTube stuff, I like your voices, or your voices will fit in a unique niche. And yeah, the only thing I'll say about it right now is that it is video game themed. It sort of has a retro vibe to it, and a retro video game vibe to it, and that's pretty much it. Well, and also it may never actually happen. I always like to talk a lot about big grand things that I want to do, and then life intrudes, and you know, I realize I just don't have the time to do these things that I would want to do, and they get shelved. But this is my resolution for the year. I don't usually make a New Year's resolution, but this year I thought, you know what, my resolution is to do something creative, and thus this idea was born. So this would kind of act as a pilot, and I wouldn't even object to maybe turning this into a series. So it would probably be a 2 to 5 minute short, and it would have an ensemble cast, and it would sort of be retro video game themed. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want anybody to get their hopes up, because the likelihood is that the Earth will end before this happens, that humankind will be wiped from the face of the planet, and the Earth will be destroyed from existence before this show actually gets put out. So yeah, there you go. And that should be in December of 2012, so that's basically, yeah, it's all going to fall into place. So I hope everybody had a good holiday, and especially a happy New Year, happy and safe New Year. Of course, if you didn't have a safe New Year, you're probably not listening to this right now. So, yeah, good times. All right, folks, stick with me in 2012 as we try to expand on what we do here. We will be debuting the Retro Roulette in February. I put that down as a firm date. It is happening in February. Retro Roulette will be debuting. If I can get my gumption up I will be doing the Super Meat Boy Challenge next week, so I'm probably going to do Guardians of Graxia and the Super Meat Boy Challenge for the 2 videos next week, so keep your eyes out for those. And yeah, that is going to do it for us. I have been Big Dave, and as always, take it easy.